All right, hey everybody. So we're gonna keep working on the string class. There's one thing that I left over, or one thing left over from a refactoring of the split method, and that's basically this conditional here. Now, I know I've seen some folks who are really into ternary operators, and they just use them everywhere. And I think the worst one that I've ever seen was 6 or 7 levels deep. But when it comes to something like this conditional, it is the prime case for a ternary operator. And the reason that I say that is that ultimately both conditions, so whether right is empty or not, we are updating the array variable. Then not only that, but we're only checking one case, right? The right variable is empty. So we're going to say right empty. And just in case you don't know, the question mark is basically saying, is this true? If so, do this thing, right? This part after the question mark. If it's not true, and I don't need the semicolon there, if it's not true, so that's the colon, then do this other thing, and that's the array merge, right? So now if we comment that out, save, run all of our tests, they should pass. And it is a nice way just to make things a little bit shorter. So now you can see that everything sort of fits on this one screen. Now I do know somebody who we were doing a survey of developers, and we asked everybody, what's a good length for functions, and one person responded that it should be able to fit on one screen. And if I have a 19-inch screen, a 19-inch monitor that's turned vertically, so that I can fit more code on it, then that can be a pretty substantial function. And my general way of looking at it is that the function should be able to do what it's being asked to do in as little space as possible. And how can I put this? And if it never has to go beyond itself, right? So this function, for example, if there was something else, right, where we needed to remove empty values from a string or from an array all the time, then it would be warranted for us to make this conditional a separate function. But that's not the case, right? And I don't want to create a function that is only used by one other function unless it's just unruly and I can't reason about it locally inside of the function. So anyhow, so that's what we got, and we're cruising right along. I mean, I think we're doing pretty well. I think there may come a time where we refactor, say something like this, the has suffix and the has prefix, just because they're so close. There's only a couple of spots where they do something different, but we're not going to do that right now. So anyhow, so that takes care of split. Let's get down here. Subscript. So Subscript takes a string.index and it accesses the character at the given position. So I'm betting, let's see what this does. So aqualung dot subscript and yeah, I don't actually even know what that does in Swift. It sounds very similar to get a character at this index, which we're going to kind of do. So let's just go ahead and do that. So we have first. Now first is a property, it is not a function. But again, we talked about this in other videos. We're basically making properties, or making it look like a property in PHP, can take a couple of hoops, right? So for example, this string, that's a property. And you can tell it's a property because it doesn't have parentheses at the end. That's what differentiates the function call from the property call. Now, I typically do prefer to have functions over properties, just so that I can always maintain sort of business logic in that sort of a thing. So maintain business logic processing. So let's go ahead and make a public function, and we're going to call it first, and it's going to return a string, and it's going to return the first character in the string without manipulating the string, at least I think. So let's go ahead and do aqualung dot first. And yeah, we get an S. So let's go ahead and metadata test. No, I think this is going to be a string test. Yep, drop first because it's returning a string. So let's go ahead and bring that down here. So string test, public function test can retrieve first character. Expected is going to be H. And our result is going to be str from string. And we're going to grab this plain text. And we are going to want to do one for the Unicode characters. Plain text. And then we're going to do first. And we're going to say this assert equals expected result. One error, not because, because it is an undefined function. String first, because I haven't saved it yet. So we're going to return H, again, because we're going back into TDD mode, right? So that's the simplest solution that we need to be able to pass that test. And basically test can retrieve, can retrieve character Unicode, and expected equals, let's pull up our test strings, get the big smiley face, and results equals string from string, this Unicode first, this assert equals that should fail, right? And basically, from over the years of basically me messing around with TDD and things like that, every test you have should have, or every function you have that you test would most likely have at least two tests, right? So yeah. Now the thing is that remove, right? Remove takes and actually manipulates the string. We don't want to manipulate the underlying string. We just want to get it, right? At least I think. So aqualung first, if we now do aqualung and then have this go, right, aqualung remains self-contained breathing apparatus, or self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. So we definitely don't want to remove it. We just want to get that one. And if I thought we had uppercase, lowercase, string, split, bisected array by repeating. I'm betting if we do split, no. No, I'm really trying to make this too hard. So let's come back to our function if I can find it. There we go. So the standard library has two functions, array pop and array shift. And what array shift does is it brings the first value out of an array. So yeah, as long as we just do that, we should be fine. So it is beneficial when creating something sort of this low level to kind of know some more about the standard library and the functions available to you. So that's first. So what about last? All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy those two tests, and I'm going to copy those two tests. I'm going to paste them there, and I'm going to say first, last. All right, so from hello world, we're going to have an exclamation mark. And from the Unicode, we're going to have that odd. What is that emoticon? Can't remember which one it is. And we're going to say last and last. Both of these should fail, right? Two errors because last doesn't exist. So come up here, and we're going to create a public function. We're going to call it last, and we're going to return a string. And basically, so the corollary for array shift is array pop. And basically it takes and pops the end off an array. And it will if it's a stored value, right, in a variable, right? So if we had array equals this array, if we did array pop off of that array and then returned array would lose, be missing any number of pops that we did. So otherwise it's going to return the character. So that gets both of those tests to pass. Random element. Okay. How do you test a random element? Right, because the point of a test is that you're going to get the same thing over and over and over again because you know what to expect. So how do we do that? So let's do something a little bit different. Yeah. All right. So here, we're going to do extract method again. Oh, wait, let me back this train up a little bit. Do I want to write the test for that? that's what Subscript does. So let's but do I want to call it see, that's not even a function, it's not even a property. So subscript string index get. Yeah, so string first index of index first index where. Yeah, let's go ahead and make that a public method. All right, so not replacing, not appending, and we're not altering the base string. So, not altering the base string, public function, oh wait, function, string at, now character at, right, we're going to give it an int, we're going to say that's at, and we're going to say string, and yeah, so if we come down here, where was it? There it was. All right, so we're going to say char equals this character at and oh wait, can't do that. I can comment out those two because I still need the array to unset it, right? Because we actually manipulate the local string here. So character at remove, yeah. So let's do that. Copy that. Okay, so now we come back up here. Character at. Nope, and we still need the array part of this. So we get the array, we adjust the index, we return the character. Now, as we showed in the previous video, the string, like we could actually this string and say 0, and that would work. But I want to make sure that we're accounting for Unicode things and so on and so forth. Right? So we're just trying to be a little on the safe side. So I don't actually need that to be a property. We should just be able to return 7 failures. Character at. So that. Okay, so oh, because I still need index. That's right. Yeah, so it was dropping the wrong index. So yeah, we're kind of good there. Now, so there's that test. But I don't really think that's enough to test this this function. So let's go ahead and modify last, and we're going to say this character at this count. Still passes. All right, so we can get rid of the standard library. And let's try first. So this character at 0, or no, 1, because it's the first character, right? Because we're not playing with arrays here, we're playing with strings. So yeah, and now we don't need the standard library. So CharacterAt, and we did all of that just to be able to say, to feel more confident that when we do random element, that it's going to work. So I'm curious, how do people test random elements, random things? I'll look into that later. All right, so we could, of course, create our own random number generator, but let's not do that. So I think it's just random. No. PHP random between. Oh, rand. Sorry. All right, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to say at equals rand, and the minimum is going to be 1. The maximum is going to be this count, and then we're going to say return this character at. And yeah, I think I'm just going to have to write a test for that later, maybe off camera. So to do write test for random character. Right. So back to here. So random element. Available string encodings, not looking for that. Returns a human readable string giving the name of a given whole, no. More initializers, creates a string corresponding to the given, nope. Creates a string having the given content, we already have that. Creates a string corresponding UTF-8 map. Okay, returns an array containing the results of mapping the given closure over the sequences of elements. So maybe we are ready for closures, but I'm not sure about this. Some of these are going to be weird for me. Returns an array containing the non-nil results of calling the given transformation with each element of the sequence. What do we have down here? For each calls the given closure on each element. Enumerated returns a sequence of pairs in X where n represents a consecutive integer starting at 0 and X represents an element of the sequence. All right. So the reason I'm laughing is because this, I mean, it's pairs, so what was that function called? Enumerated. Because like I almost want to say that this is going to return just an array. Oh, nope. Enumerated sequence. I think, is it log? Oh, it is print. All right. Oh wow, that's an actual function. I thought that was just a thing. Base self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. Okay. So how about scuba enumerated? Base patent description. I mean, it's seriously, it's just, oh, I can't do that on that. Okay. Well, maybe. Anyway, it's basically returning an indexed array even if it starts as a key value pair. Okay, that seems weird, but we're just going to keep on cruising. Let's go ahead and try to do this for each. Since, like I said, it's going to be because it's going to give us a closure and calls the given closure on each element in the sequence in the same order as a for in loop. I'm really trying to pick off some of these easier ones before introducing new concepts. So maybe sorted. Let's do sorted. All right. So public function test can sort string. And we're going to say that expected equals hello world here. Let's go with the Unicode one. I've never tried to sort a Unicode before. So that should be before that. Let's just stick with this for now because I want to see what we get. All right, so result equals string from string this this plain text with Unicode sorted. This assert equals expected result. Let's see what we get. 1 errors because sorted doesn't exist. And it's returning an array. So, well, it's returning a collection of character objects or character types. So, where else are we returning arrays? So bisect array, array, bisected array, split. Yeah, let's put it up here just to keep it going. You know what, let me make sure, because I'm starting to second guess all sorts of things about this. So do sorted. Yep, no, it's a collection. Let's see how self-contained underwater breathing apparatus is underneath patent description. So, well, no, let's aqua unsorted, just to make sure. Yeah, and you can see basically all the characters are first, and then the capital A, and blah, blah, blah. All right. So let's go ahead and say public function sorted, and we're returning an array. And I think PHP has a sort, array sort or something. No, yeah, it's like, isn't it like a sort? Oh, yeah. All right. So sort an array and maintain index association. So this is to maintain the index association. I don't think we want to do that. So let's just try sort. This is to sort an array, and the flags are yeah, that's what we're going to want to do. We are going to want to set that flag. But yeah, so lemon, orange, banana, apple, sort fruits, apple, banana, lemon, orange. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get that, and I'm going to say return, because I think this can be legible at one line. So we're going to return the result of calling the sort function from the standard library. The array is going to be this array, and we're going to set a flag that says sort string, and it should be wrong. Oh, must be of type array boolean returned. What? This fun. Oh, yeah, we're not going to be able to sort the array in one line. So, and this is what one of the criticisms that I kind of do agree is that some of the APIs and some of the behaviors of standard library functions inside of PHP seem kind of weird. They're inconsistent. So I'm going to say array equals this array, and just want to make sure of something. So now that we've captured it here, we're going to go ahead and run sort over it, right? And then we're going to return the array. So this is very similar to array shift and array pop, where calling the function doesn't get you back that thing changed. Instead, it gets you back whether or not something was successful. And or in the case of array pop or array shift, it gives you the value from the array. So sort, you have to manipulate the array by reference, right? So basically this array object or this array value is being passed in by reference, and it's manipulating this array that's above it so that by the time we get to the return, it's the now equal to the final result. So in theory, we should have it failing, which is what we want. And so, all right, so it says that the types don't match, which is good. So prime comma enter, prime comma enter, prime comma, sorry, there should be a comma there, prime, prime, exclamation mark. All right. So H, so that's the comma, that's the space, exclamation mark, right. All right, so that should be okay. So it's an array versus an array. All right, so the expected is going to be noted by minus signs. The actual is noted by plus signs, so left, right. EHLLO, comma, space, world, exclamation mark. And then what we actually returned was the space, exclamation mark, comma, HELLO, and then the world. So that's interesting. So capital letters come first. Sort flag case can combine bitwise or with sort string or sort natural to sort strings case insensitively. Oh. So nat sort is a function I didn't know, and the reference here, that at sign or the ampersand, is how we know that that array is being passed in by reference. And you can do that for yourself as well. Does Swift sort it naturally or not? So let's do this. I'm going to copy the hello world from here. I'm going to make str hello world. And I'm going to say string sorted. Oops. Semicolon is not required. It's not going to break anything either, but it's not required. HELLO, yep. So it does it by case sensitivity as well, so we're just going to leave it. But that also means that I have to put the string in that order. So H, the space goes first, and the exclamation mark goes next. HELLO apostrophe or comma. That should unexpected HO. It's a parse error. I forgot to put a comma. What? Maybe I should also do the So that's not what's going on. So I'm trying to understand why the pluses and minuses are all cattywampus. sort string array values. That would reindex it. And we're missing the second globe. All right, I'm going to have to do a var dump here. See, that's fine. Space, exclamation mark, comma. Does that get it to work? It does, okay. All right, so I basically had the comma in the wrong place, but it was making the readout from the test odd. So 38 tests, 46 assertions, and they all passed. So we're good. That brings us to sorted. Sorted by returns the elements of the sequence sorted using the given predicate as the comparison, right? So I think given how many closures this thing can take, I'm really thinking that we're just going to do that as a whole section of videos. So reversed, shuffled, it's kind of like random, but anyhow, I think we made pretty good distance on getting in a couple of more features out there and some minor refactoring just in here. So that's going to be the end of this one. As always, thank you so much for your time. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah, I live and breathe by feedback. So just let me know what you're thinking and if this is helpful or not. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.